So very, very different reaction here in the UK to Donald Trump's return to office than when he came to power in 2016. What I'm curious about, and what we've got Joshua in here to talk about, is the reaction from Germany, because we did a live show. I think it might have been our first live show ever. The morning after Donald Trump was elected, you were talking then about how you had family members saying, "Hey, you're in America because you were at the time. Can you go assassinate him?" Like a lot of hatred for Donald Trump. So what is the situation now after this week? Has it shifted?
There are a lot of people that are saying that Trump will be worse this time around because he has much more power. So that still seems to be the consensus. But I see some admiration on left and right too. For example, they say, hey, that guy gets things done. Germany debates about deporting migrants and he deports them like that. In just a few days, he makes the decrees and it's going forward. We are talking about solving the Middle East crisis and he makes a deal. Now, you can argue that the deal may not be good at all. And they may be praising him for the wrong reasons, but they are saying like, wow, he's getting things done. But the overall consensus is still that he is a danger to democracy. Even the German ambassador to the United States, a memo from him was leaked where he said that he will be largely sapping the US of its democratic principles. And the German foreign minister was asked, well, that's dangerous to say something like that from a diplomat that's supposed to help us have good relations with the United States. And she basically said, well, he just speaks about the reality at hand. So it's not very professional dealing with that. I think that they're trying to shift more like we need to have good relations with America. But then you also had Ursula von der Leyen, the German European Union Commission president, said, well, we also need to shift toward China. So I would say there are three different kinds of reactions. There's the usual hatred, there's the admiration, and I think the most prophetically significant one is, hey, there might be an opportunity for us. And we can maybe talk a little bit about that later. But first of all, I want to just say, why is Germany so concerned about it? Now, the German people actually don't have to worry too much. Right now, President Trump hasn't imposed tariffs on Europe. He doesn't even mention Europe much in his inauguration speech or anything like that. He's concerned about domestic issues. He's concerned about solving some wars right now. So it's not really at hand that he wants to start a trade war with Germany. But some of the appointments that he made, for example, concerning trade, are concerning Germany, and also exiting the climate change agreement. That's a big deal for Germany. Why? Because Germany doesn't export oil, they don't export gas, they export green technology. They are big into solar energy and they are producing a lot of those kinds of technology and they are exporting it. I think they are competing with China and the largest exporter. So if you scale back the climate change hoax and people don't buy into that anymore, then Germany is actually losing some of its trade in that way. And then he also exits the World Health Organization and he appoints people that have been anti-lockdown, anti-coronavirus lockdown, and Germany has some skeletons they want to hide about the true scientific evidence about the lockdowns and the true scientific evidence about the vaccine that they have been promoting. So you can see that the German elite, they have some legitimate things that they are concerned about. And a little bit less concerning is that Trump might be invading Greenland and they say like this is part of Europe because it's part of Denmark who's part of the European Union. So, and then the Panama Canal is another thing. We're like, oh, is he going to be like another Putin right now? Now you see more people that say like, well, I don't think he's actually going to invade those countries and the Panama Canal. But you see that like we don't know how to handle with this kind of man that has some power. So the consensus on left and right is we need to be a power ourselves.
Yeah, we've seen, I don't know whether it's concrete steps, but certainly big talk about that just even this week. I mean, you mentioned Ursula von der Leyen talking about how we need to shift towards China. The German leader and the French leader, Olaf Scholz, Emmanuel Macron, I think they got together this week to talk about that. Emmanuel Macron called for a European strategic awakening. So certainly there's this like we all need to come together. We all need to have a strong leader. We need our own Donald Trump, and I think that can come from a place of, say, envy for those that do look at Donald Trump and say, "Hey, I wish we had a leader that could get stuff done like he's getting done." Those people are going to want a strong leader, because part of the reason why Europe gets nothing done is you have everything divided up between different levels of authority. There's kind of the European level, and there's the states level, and it feels like European law gets in the way of heads of states getting anything done, and then countries get in the way of Europe getting anything done. So big change, strong leader for those that kind of maybe like him and envy him, but then also for those that really don't like him. Well, if they're going to stand up and combat him effectively, again, well, we need our own Donald Trump, our own strong European leader.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that they're bringing the two parts together. I just saw an interview from the former German defense minister, Karl Theodor zu Guttenberg. He's kind of right and left. He kind of brings them together. But he said, well, we might need a Giorgia Meloni in Italy, and we might need a Viktor Orban in Hungary, that are bringing the power of their countries into the European Union, that we together can then speak to Donald Trump. Because Hungary, for example, they are close to Russia, and Viktor Orban said, like, well, we have to wait and see what Donald Trump may do, and he hoped that he would be looser on Putin, and now that he wants to impose sanctions on Russia, which would hurt the Hungarian industry too, and then tariffs on the European Union. So Hungary is like, well, I can't really rely on the United States right now, so that will drive them closer into the European Union. But as you said, who is going to speak to Donald Trump? Is it going to be Giorgia Meloni? Is it going to be Viktor Orban? Is it going to be von der Leyen? I have seen quite a few articles that said, well, von der Leyen really has to step it up now to be able to negotiate it on eye level on Donald Trump's level, but really no one really believes that they could. But we do have a clip from Gutenberg that we often point to, and he's just very strong about Donald Trump in that clip that I wanted to show.
Jetzt kann man 3 Jahre warten, meine Damen und Herren, und sagen, es wird eine Zeit nach Trump geben. Es ist aber auch nicht ausgeschlossen, dass der möglicherweise wiedergewählt wird. Trotz Charlottesville, trotz einer völlig gespaltenen Nation, vielleicht sogar gerade deswegen, weil es mittlerweile auch dort Menschen gibt, die ihm immer noch glühend und enthusiastisch hinterherlaufen.
So he's just saying that 3 years ago, so Donald Trump was 1 year in office, and he said 3 years later he might become re-elected. No, there was a Biden break for 4 years, but he was right. There were enough people that re-elected Donald Trump, and actually it's millions more this time around that voted for him. So he has been watching Donald Trump for a long time. He has been living in the United States. So a lot of people are coming to him like, explain us this guy, explain us America under him. So there are a lot of people that are looking to him as an expert. So talking about a strong leader, talking about someone who knows Donald Trump, who knows how to deal with these kind of things. And another headline that I just saw that the European Union wants to implement is like a digital euro in response to the cryptocurrencies, because that's threatening the banking system in Europe, because people go to cryptocurrencies, they're not having their money in the bank necessarily. So they're saying we need that, and that's something Gutenberg has been watching. He has been watching geopolitical events. So a lot of people are watching him right now because he has been talking about those topics.